do in warm up and a couple variations of this, right? We do the bridges, right? Feet almost just to the point of what you do for a squat. And we want to focus that we're going to push through the heels, we're going to tighten the core, and then we're going to fire the glutes. So, you know, if you put your hands on your stomach, tighten your core, flex your glutes, and then drive it up, right? And then relax, you can relax your head, and then we reinitiate. Initiate the core, flex the glutes, push it up, right? And then you can go single leg, right? Leg comes up, same thing. Feel your core tighten, flex the glute, push, right? Core, glute, push, okay? Just so when you're doing squats, deadlifts, lunges, that type of thing, when your core fires and your legs get to that position where you're bent down for the squat, the glutes will work with the hamstrings, and vice versa, the glutes will fire at the bottom with the core. That's something that you always want to keep going, okay? If you guys have a band at home, right, we're gonna go reverse flies for this. And it doesn't have to be a lot of resistance because again, we're doing these exercises to keep muscle groups firing and have a fire pattern to them, right? So when we're apart here, we're looking for a retraction with the shoulder blades as it comes apart, right? So if you see from the side, I don't pull like this. I'm gonna retract, okay? Retract my shoulder blades and pull apart. So there's no bend and pull in. It's retract right away with your shoulder blades, right? You can go about 10 to 15, maybe even 20, depends upon the resistance that you have. Just working the motion of kind of like you're gonna push your chest out and squeeze your scapula together, right? Your shoulder blades together in the back. Reverse fly. All right, hamstring curls, okay? So with the hamstring curls, 2 pieces of equipment, and don't worry if you don't have a slide board, that's not what we're looking for. If you have a laminate floor tile, something where the floor can be slick with like maybe either your socks on or a towel, right? Or maybe even like one of your workout shirts that's nylon will work really well just as far as the slippery surface. Again, if you have the band, right, for hamstrings, you can put your foot in, right? It can be right down at the ankle if you have something to hold on to, right? Reaching back, okay? Reaching back is gonna get the hamstring and the glute with it. So there's a little bit of glute reaction with this and not so much a hamstring curl, right? It's just reaching back with it too. If you want, you can put the band on your foot this way, and then you can get a drive and up, and that'll be a little bit more glute with your hamstring, sort of trying to target the two together, right? Pushing up. So you can either have the reach back or on your foot, pushing up. The ones that are definitely more intense then are on the floor, right? So when you work with those guys, we did this on the suspension trainer. But we can do this here where you got the rag or the towel underneath your heels, and then we're up, right? Kind of get your whole butt on there. And we put the bridge together with this. Mentioned before, core tight, glutes fire, curl up, right? Coming back down. Okay, so we're using the resistance of the floor and the towel. Core tight, glutes fire, hamstring curl up. So whether you have a band or a hardwood floor surface with something that makes it slick, you know, got some Pledge at home sprayed on there, make it nice and slick, and then you have a little bit less resistance, but it slides nice. Get your hamstrings working with your glutes together. So with a passive leg raise, no doorway, right? We want legs up. Do not, here's the thing you do not want to do. You do not want to have your legs so far back that like your tailbone starts to rest off the ground. So you want to have that tailbone connected where like your vertebrae, your whole spine is on the floor, toes are pulled tight, right? Coming down, trying to touch that calf, and then coming back up for a passive, active stretch, because we're active, passive on the lower, and then up, right? Don't let this happen where we're here like this, trying to get the stretch. And that's the same thing if you have a doorway. Like if I came over here, right? And now this is my doorway, right? Again, notice how the spine is flat on the floor. It's not to the stretch of where when I kick up like this, I'm coming off. That's a no-no, okay? Toe pulled tight, stretch, come back down. Don't force the stretch where the heel comes up off the ground, okay? And always have the toes dorsiflexed, means pulled towards you, okay? Good 10 reps each side. get the hamstrings activated, good stretch. Let's just start from the bottom, the one that we had you guys do all the time, that you could do almost every day, right? Band comes up over the knees for clams. Okay, so the big thing is we don't want legs like this. We want almost a 90-degree bend. Like if we come over the top, you see a 90-degree bend in here, nothing too close. Because we're looking for like when you would sit down to a chair or a squat, right? And then the heels stay together and we open up, right? And we come back down, open up. When you do these too, guys, just remember, we don't want open, fast close, right? So we don't want to just work the concentric part of it where we're trying to stretch the band. We want to control the band back down, right? Open, control the band back down. Okay, those are the clams. Now if we stick with the band, when we go down to the ankles with it, right, there's just a various amount, like kind of steps we can do, right? We can just go side, right? We can reach back, right? Reach at an angle, right? And we can step forward and control hip flexors, right? Control hip flexors, right? So side, back, forward. The other thing too, if you have one that's small enough resistance, we go to the feet here, right? And just like we do for our form running, this is good for the hips, right? Up, tighten the core, right? So we get the movement of the running motion up, right? Up. And that's just a little resistance like we do with the bands that you can have here. Up, right? Up. And we tighten up, come through so we can get glutes, hip flexors, and hamstrings with it all with the band around your ankles or by your feet. So if you got one of the little bands, that's some great glute work, hip flexor stuff. That's part of the core, okay? So if you got a band at home, guys, two, I think, important exercises that you could use for this. And if you got some weight, you can use weight too, but this is what we're working with if this is all you have for weight. On exercises that you could do every day just to kind of keep strength, right, in two important places, because as athletes, we want to really train the posterior side of things, right? And hamstrings are one of them. So if we step on the band, right, and then we get the back nice and tight, right, we have tension in the band. Now we're going to do our straight leg deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, kind of slight bend in the knees, right? Push the hips back, flat back, get the stretch in the hamstring, okay? Resistance coming back up, all right? Holding on to the band, stretch the hamstrings out, right? Controlling the motion with your hips, right? Notice how I roll my shoulders back to help keep my back flat, and then I push my hips back with that slight bend in my knees. I'm not bending my knees as I'm going down. I'm just keeping that same bend and pushing my hips back for the stretch, and then coming back up, okay? The other important one, guys, can you attach it on something, right? And then, so with the rows, right, whether you got opposite is usually what we do, opposite leg back, right, and then pulling in, right, for the row to work the posterior side of things. Now here's the thing, you can lock the shoulder in place, right, and then roll to hold position, which is good, okay? Or you can let it come extended out and focus on this shoulder blade or this shoulder reacting first, like this, okay? Right? Shoulder reacts first and then into the draw, right? So you can let it come all the way out, but make sure that this is reacting first into the pull, not like this, and then trying to squeeze it back. Use this first to initiate and then drive, or hold it in place and row, okay? So rows, straight leg deadlifts with the band. All right, guys, core stuff here. So when we talk about stability or just tightness through your transverse abs, as far as the ones that are underneath that you can't see, that come and wrap around, we want to make sure that the stability stays on track. This helps with the squats and the deadlifts and so forth, and even like with rotational stuff when it comes to running, sprinting, agility, all that stuff in athletics. We want to make sure that you guys constantly keep that tension and know how to make it work. So I'll show you the ones with the band, if you have the band, and then we can show you without the band, right? So one of my favorite ones with the band is, again, you have tension somewhere where the band is pulled in tight, right to your sternum, right? And then extending out and holding 20 to 30 seconds. Notice that my hips aren't relaxed. They're gonna be tight, okay? And I'm not letting the hips open. I'm forcing the other hip to be straight, so I'm flexing my glutes, right? 20 to 30 seconds. You can add a little press in if you want to kind of change the resistance. You can switch it the other way, right? So you just spin the other way, band comes out for the other side, working anti-rotational. And then you can go, this is anti-rotation too, but then you're facing the floor where, right, we set the band up a little bit lower, right? And come into the plank position, widen your feet to start and make it easier. And then we're drawing the band in. Hey, yes, we work a little lat with it, and we're not opening up. We're staying square, right? We're drawing the band in to settle in and tighten this side, not to let this side draw out. Because this is the side that's working if you're pulling with that side, right? Or if you're seeing from the camera this way, we want to pull in, so we draw that in. Again, 20 to 30 seconds. If you don't have a band, they work just as well like doing your side, and then you can come down and open, and you'll work this core side right here to fight rotation, and then rotation to hold up. So you can work like 15 seconds from side to coming down, and then same thing over here. Side to coming down, and you're working rotation stability, right? Easy, coming into more difficult. And that same side is working essentially then, okay? Going from those positions. So there's the core stuff. Okay, if you guys have some smaller weights, you're only looking like 2 pounds, or you have 2 things, don't have 2.5 weights, maybe you can go without weights, cans of soup, you know, that type of thing. Get 2 pounds. We're working the smaller muscles in your shoulders, thinking stability muscles, just movements with the shoulders where we're thinking, right, thumbs up, right, just come and raise, not out straight in front. I'm kind of making a Y position off to the side, right? I can raise up over here. Okay, for like 10, I can rotate then and go thumbs down, okay? Just a little bit of work on the shoulders. I can go hands up, right? We're reaching here and then open, right? Let the weights come down, open, okay? And then I can come in where my elbows stick to my rib cage, open, push chest out, right? Small weights. So I got 4 movements there. You can even, if you want to take that one where you're down, like that's just like a kind of like a reverse fly that's light, like we do with the band. We're just letting the elbows bend and then sinking down. But we go thumbs up, right? Thumbs down, okay? Elbows up at 90. Elbows in, again at 90, right? And open. Simple movements, keep the stability muscles good, firing, keep that shoulder rock solid. Kind of the same thing for the hip. Some of this stuff we showed already a little bit, guys, where if we have a 4-way hip movement and you have a band, right, where we have the backwards kick, okay, for hamstring glute, right, and then I just kind of spin in a circle. So face the next direction, go inside pull, okay, for adduction, adductor muscles, right? Hip flexor, you can go knee up or you can go forward, right? Knee up or forward, and I just keep spinning. And then to the outside for abduction, right? And then I'm back, kicking backwards. So 1, 2, 3, right? 4. 10 of each movement. Keep the 4 muscle groups around the hip, firing, have some resistance. Even if you have a partner at home, right, maybe mom or dad, you want to do a little workout with them, get some stability stuff, you can do this if you have like a long towel or even rope and just you're giving the resistance for your partner. And then you can give the resistance on it and make it a little bit harder than what a band would be. Okay?